There was no immediate return to the First Division, but the signing of David Cross had produced a regular goal supply.
Siddle beating Martin and Bonds, backed by Stewart. Tangle of players, Cross! David Cross, the scorer.
Arsenal in yellow on the far side. Billy Bonds, the West Ham captain, holding the ball, followed by David Cross.
Well, this was what we walked out in. These are the tracksuit tops that we walked out in, and I always feel that, I think I've said it before, that the minute you walk out for the cup final is a good moment, because you haven't lost, you haven't won, but you haven't lost. You're walking out into the cup final, you're playing in the cup final, and walking out that day makes you feel very proud. To think, for certainly like me, who was a little boy who watched the cup final every year religiously, every May, and then think I was actually playing in it, and walking out that day, walking up the tunnel, walking out onto the pitch and seeing all the fans, 100,000 people there, was a big moment for me. As I say, that you do feel as though you're part of that big occasion. 11 of you are going out there, and 11 of you are going to win, and the other 11 are going to lose. So at that point, when you walk out, you can look at the team you're playing against, and you're all enjoying that same moment of pride of walking out and giving your family so much pride as well. So that was what we walked out in, and I'm really pleased that it's kept itself in good nick. This shirt is obviously Wembley 1980. This was the one I might have worn in the cup final if I'd been a player who liked long sleeve shirts. We got the alternate option. We had a long sleeve shirt and a short sleeve shirt. I always played in short sleeves, and this is the one that I left behind in the dressing room, the one I actually played in. I swapped with Willie Young, which I always regret now. I wish I'd kept that. But this is the one that stayed in the dressing room. Some of the lads, I think, if you look back at footage, would have played in long sleeves. They would have kept the short sleeve one back. But this is my memento of that game, and I treasure this really more than Willie Young's shirt, because this is West Ham, and I do wish I'd not swapped shirts now. I wish I'd kept mine. And this is the shirt I did swap with Willie Young. I think if the footage is good, which it usually is, you might be able to even see the grass stains on it. It's not been washed since that day. Willie just swapped it with me. It's got the sweat stains on, and a few grass stains at the bottom there. So this is the shirt that he wore, and it's not even been washed since then, just tucked away in a bag and stuck in my loft for nearly 40 years. And again, a memento of the game, which is something that I treasure in that respect, because I never ever thought I would play in a cup final. And to keep this, and having won the cup as well, is something that I treasure, and certainly my kids will keep and treasure for the rest of their lives too.
Billy Bonds lifts the FA Cup for West Ham. And East London delirious.
And again the following season when West Ham won promotion.
Devonshire coming to take it. Room to pick somebody out. And it's David Cross! Goal number 13. Trevor Brooking there in the crowd on the right, like everybody else, must be feeling that another West Ham goal is imminent. Curious, and Pike shot, and a good save, but Cross will get his second. A rather strange clearance really by De Vries, set that up. Pike's shot met by a really fine save, but no problem for David Cross to tuck it in. And taken by Cross, and that's 2-0 right at the death. He goes to congratulate Brooking, who reciprocates.
That same season, there was the bonus for the Hammers and their supporters of another Wembley Cup final appearance. This time in the Football League Cup, where their opponents were a Liverpool side who would dominate the 80s.
This is the 1981 League Cup final shirt, which we wore at Wembley, and that was the game where we felt that we were a bit stitched up by the referee with Liverpool's goal. I'm fairly certain he was offside. Sammy Lee was on the ground as the ball went over his head, and he was in an offside position. I'm sure it put Phil Parkes off, but Clive Thomas had led that goal, and we felt a bit aggrieved by that.
Alan Kennedy's post forward. There's Irwin. Bonds at the back. Martin only to Alan Kennedy, who puts it in! And Alan Kennedy, no, it's not going to count. It's not going to count. They're going over to the linesman. Is it going to count? Yes, it is going to count. And Alan Kennedy has scored with his right foot. Pearson goes to talk to the linesman on the far side, Mr. Jeremy. Great complaints from West Ham as Liverpool go away to congratulate each other, and the referee is going again to talk to the linesman. A goal it is. 3 minutes from time. The man famed for his ability on his left. A clearance from Alvin Martin, and Kennedy sinks it with his right, and he'll remember that for many a long day.
But thankfully we had Ray to stick the penalty away at the end when with I think only a few minutes left in extra time, and for him to keep his head and be able to score and not do his normal one of smashing it as hard as he could and just sliding it into the corner and sending Clements the wrong way was pretty impressive. But Ray was a great penalty taker, probably one of the best ever.
6 of his 7 goals this season have come from the penalty spot, but none as important as this. And he puts it in. And Clements is down on his knees as they go to congratulate Ray Stewart. Clements, who made the most brilliant save a few seconds ago.
Despite his reservations about Liverpool's goal, John Lyall was delighted with the comeback.
This one's the replay. This was then the one I actually wore in the replay at Villa Park, where for me it was probably the worst game I ever played for the club. Not only in terms of how badly I'd played personally, but the way the game went. Liverpool were a little bit better than us on the day, even though we got Paul's goal. But I'd been ill that day, to be honest. I'd had an ear infection. I felt awful, and I probably shouldn't have played. I should have been brave enough to tell John Lyall that I wasn't fit enough to play, but I probably was too selfish and wanted to play in the cup final replay, and I think I always felt I let the club and the players and the fans down that night. In fact, John gave me a rocket after the match for not going to the fans, and thanking them for their support. But I just couldn't go over to them and be applauding after the way I'd played, and I just I slunk away into the changing room and up the steps at Villa Park. Probably I shouldn't have done that, but it's just how I felt. I felt so bad that day. But that's that shirt from that game, and that's the number 9.
Tottenham, back in front of their home fans for the first time since winning the FA Cup and bang in form after their win at Middlesbrough on Saturday, were fully expecting another 3 points despite a few injuries. But West Ham, and one man in particular, had other ideas.
David Cross had scored 4 goals in one match just once before, 5 months ago at Blundell Park, Grimsby. On Wednesday night he chose a rather more illustrious setting to repeat the feat, White Hart Lane, Tottenham. Looking on from the stands, England manager Ron Greenwood. Getting an even better view, England goalkeeper Ray Clements. Cross emphasised on Wednesday that after relatively unsuccessful spells with Rochdale, Norwich, Coventry and West Brom, it's taken the philosophy of John Lyall to realise his full potential. And his third goal of the night was one he'll treasure forever. Cross says it was possibly the best he's ever scored. Ron Greenwood put it in the goal of the season category. And certainly at this stage, the man known as Psycho to his teammates and the West Ham fans was looking as lethal as any centre-forward in the country. But when we watch it again, it's clear that after the brilliant one-touch build-up between Paul Goddard and Jeff Pike, the goal was slightly unorthodox as well as superb. Cross's full-blooded volley actually came off his shin before raging into the net. But still he wasn't finished, as the Spurs defence collapsed into complete disarray and Ray Clemence began to scramble around his area in a way Liverpool fans never used to see. The final touch of an incredible night had to come from that man David Cross. Which of your particular goals will you look back on with special affection? The third one, perhaps?
I think so, and yeah, I mean, technically it was probably the best of the three, and also, with it being a hat-trick goal, it was very satisfying. And also, I think it probably put the game out of Spurs' reach. You know, even at 2-0, one goal puts them 2-1, and you know, you're hanging on then. I think at 3-0, I think we thought we'd probably won the match, and so it proved.
And you didn't get to keep the match ball this time?
No, I didn't. It was given to me, but I gave it to Phil Parkes. It was something I'd arranged with Phil long. Well, the last time I got a hat-trick, Phil complained that he was never going to be in a position to get one himself, and therefore not to be able to get a match ball. So I promised him that I'd give him the next one I got, and that was tonight.
This must, of course, give yourself and the team tremendous confidence. I would think last Saturday at home to Brighton might have been a bit of a disappointment.
Yes, it was, and I think you're right. We needed the boost that it's given to us. We haven't played in the first division for three seasons now, so I think we all needed to get a win under our belts, and it was very satisfying to come to Tottenham, which obviously they're our closest rivals, so it means a lot to our fans as well, and it will set us up. But you know, obviously we've got to look forward to the Sunderland game now and start working hard again and try and beat them 4-0.
And you had a tremendous personal record scoring goals last season. Now, well, you could have got off to a better start to do it all again.
No, I think goal scoring is a very personal thing. You know, each goal scorer in any side is probably a different character to the rest of the players in the team. I think you've got to be very selfish, very greedy, and also very confident. And I think a start like I got against Tottenham will give me the confidence I need for the rest of the season, because it's given me that foothold, you know, with 4 goals straight away to build from there.
I think you should put this on.
You're clear on. I knew you'd try and get me to. So you're going to get your mum fish and chips, are you?
Yeah.
What's she like?
She only eats skate.
Oh wow. And
No
do
skate?
you get that at the fish and chip shop?
Yeah, don't you get it?
No, they just do haddock or cod. Yeah.
Do they?
Like because you're up north.